It was a chilly autumn evening when Sarah found herself driving back from a late meeting at work. The roads were empty, the streetlights flickered every few hundred feet, and a light mist had begun to settle, making everything seem a little more sinister than usual. As she drove through the winding country road leading to her house, she couldn't help but feel that something was off. She shrugged off the feeling, blaming it on the fatigue from a long day. Turning onto a smaller, less traveled road, Sarah noticed two figures standing in the distance. As she got closer, she realized they were children, a boy and a girl, standing alone by the side of the road. This was odd considering how remote the area was. Sarah slowed her car, feeling a strange sense of unease settle over her. She stopped just a few feet away from them, her headlights illuminating their figures. The boy appeared to be around 10 years old, and the girl was maybe a little younger. They were dressed in old-fashioned clothes, strange considering how cold it was. The boy wore a frayed jacket and faded jeans, while the girl had on a frilly dress with knee-high socks. "Are you okay?" Sarah called out from the car, her window slightly rolled down. The children didn't answer right away. Instead, they simply stared at her. "Can you help us?" The boy finally asked in a soft voice, almost as if he were asking permission to speak. His tone seemed rehearsed unnatural. Sarah hesitated. She couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. But still, the children were just standing there, cold and alone, looking up at her with wide eyes. "Where are your parents?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling slightly despite her efforts to stay calm. The girl, her hair messy and eyes wide, looked at the boy before she answered. "Our parents are waiting for us. They're just down the road. Can you give us a ride home?" Sarah's unease deepened. There was something about their eyes, something dark. She hadn't noticed it at first, but now that she was staring directly into their faces, she could see it. Their eyes were completely black. No whites, no iris, just solid black. It was as though they had no pupils, no life behind them at all. I'm sorry, but I can't stop," Sarah said, fumbling with her gear shift. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest. "We just want to go home," the boy said again, his voice now tinged with urgency. "Please let us in. It's cold." The girl echoed him in a low, raspy voice. "It's so cold, please." The air around Sarah seemed to grow heavier, the mist thickening around the car. The temperature had dropped suddenly, and her breath fogged up in the car. She locked the doors instinctively, staring at the children. The hairs on the back of her neck stood up. There was a feeling deep in her gut that warned her. This was wrong. "I can't help you," Sarah said, her voice trembling more now. She shifted the car into drive, and with a shaky breath, she pressed the gas pedal to leave. But just as she began to pull away, she glanced in her rearview mirror and saw something that froze her blood. The children were following her, walking slowly but steadily down the middle of the road, their black eyes locked onto her car. Her pulse quickened. She sped up, thinking maybe they were just walking in the same direction. But as she turned a bend in the road, the children appeared again, standing at the next intersection, just staring at her. Sarah slammed on the brakes, her heart racing. They shouldn't be here. There was no way they could have gotten there that fast. She pressed her foot back on the gas, her hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. As she drove faster, the children remained in her path, always appearing just ahead of her, standing there, silent, watching. Her breath quickened, and a wave of panic surged through her. She was being followed by someone, but she couldn't explain how or why. She couldn't escape them. The road ahead was now deserted, no cars in sight, no houses or lights.